plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on planets whenever there is a disturbance created by the atheist. The Lord incarnates to protect the theist. Purport. In this particular stanza, Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, is distinguished from other incarnations. He is counted amongst the avatars, incarnations, because out of his causeless mercy, the Lord descends from his transcendental abode. Avatar means one who descends. All the incarnations of the Lord, including the Lord himself, descend on the different planets of the material world, as also in different species of life, to fulfill particular missions. Sometimes he comes himself, and sometimes his different plenary portions or parts of the plenary portions or his differentiated portions, directly or indirectly, empowered by him, descend on this material world to execute certain specific functions. Originally, the Lord is full of all opulences, all prowess, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation. When they are partly manifested to the plenary portions or parts of the plenary portions, it should be noted that certain manifestations of his different powers are required for those particular functions. When in the room, small electric bulbs are displayed, it does not mean that the electric powerhouse is limited by the small bulbs. The same powerhouse can supply power to operate large-scale industrial dynamos with greater volts. Similarly, the incarnations of the Lord display limited powers because so much power is needed at that particular time. For example, Lord Parshuram and Lord Narasimha displayed unusual opulence by killing the disobedient Kshatriyas 21 times and killing the greatly powerful atheist Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was so powerful that even the demigods in other planets would tremble simply by the unfavorable raising of his eyebrows. The demigods in the higher level of material existence many times excel the most well-to-do human beings in duration of life, beauty, wealth, paraphernalia, and in all other respects. Still, they were afraid of Hiranyakashipu. Thus, we can simply imagine how powerful Hiranyakashipu was in the material world. But even Hiranyakashipu was cut into small pieces by the nails of Lord Narasimha. This means that anyone materially powerful cannot stand the strength of the Lord's nails. Similarly, Yamadagnya displayed the Lord's power to kill all the disobedient kings, powerfully situated in their respective states. The Lord's empowered incarnation, Narada, and plenary incarnations, Varaha, as well as indirectly empowered Lord Buddha, created faith in the mass of people. The incarnations of Rama and Dhanvantari displayed his fame, and Balram, Mohini, and Vamana exhibited his beauty. Dattatreya, Matsya, Kumara, and Kapila exhibited his transcendental knowledge. Nara and Narayanisi exhibited his renunciation. So all the different incarnations of the Lord, indirectly or directly, manifested different features. But Lord Krishna, the primeval Lord, exhibited the complete features of Godhead. And thus it is confirmed that he is the source of all of the incarnations. And the most extraordinary feature exhibited by Lord Sri Krishna was his internal energetic manifestation of his pastimes with the cowherd girls. His pastimes with the gopis are all displays of transcendental existence, bliss, and knowledge. Although there are manifested apparently as sex love, the specific attraction of his pastimes to the gopis should never be misinterpreted or misunderstood. The Bhagavatam relates these transcendental pastimes in the 10th canto, and in order to reach the position to understand the transcendental nature of Lord Krishna's pastimes with the gopis, the Bhagavatam promotes the student gradually in 9 other cantos. According to Srila Jiva Goswami's statement, in accordance with authoritative sources, Lord Krishna is the source of all other incarnations. It is not that Lord Krishna has any source of incarnation. All the symptoms of the Supreme Truth in full are present in the person of Lord Sri Krishna. And in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord emphatically declares that there is no truth greater than or equal to himself. In this stanza, the word Swayam is particularly mentioned to confirm that Lord Krishna has no other source than himself. Although in other places the incarnations are described as Bhagavan because of their specific functions. Nowhere are they declared to be the Supreme Personality. In this stanza, the word Swayam signifies the supremacy of the Samambhonam. The Samambhonam Krishna is one without a second. He himself has expanded himself in various parts, portions, and particles as Swayam Rupa, Swayam Prakasha, Tadikatma, Prabhava, Vaibhava, Vilasa, Avatar, Avesh, and Jiva, all provided with innumerable energies, just suitable to the respective persons and personalities. Learned scholars in transcendental subjects have carefully analyzed the Samambhonam Krishna to have 64 principal attributes. All the expansions or categories of the Lord possess only some percentages of these attributes, but Sri Krishna is the possessor of the attributes sent person, and his personal expansions such as Swayam Prakasha, Tadikatma, up to the categories of the avatars who are all Vishnu Tattva, possess up to 93% of these transcendental attributes. Lord Shiva, who is neither avatar nor Avesha, nor in between them, possesses almost 84% of the attributes. But the jivas or the individual living beings in different statuses of life possess up to the limit of 78% of the attributes. In the conditioned state of material existence, the living being possesses these attributes in very minute quantity, varying in terms of the pious life of the living being. Okay, I'm not going to read the entire translation. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurmitan Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manabhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swamrupa Sri Chaitanya Manabhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Natisa Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sijita Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavams Shri Rupam Sakarajata Sagana Raghunathapitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Pariyana Saitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Dapta Kanchana Gaurangira Devinda Vaneshwari Nishabano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhu bhayeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Gurudas Jaya Dvata Swami Tinami. Hare Krishna. So here we see how Krishna is Swayam Bhagwan. Ekala Ishwara Krishna, Aresha Bhabhatya. Right. Krishna is a possessor, sent person of all the 64 qualities. Right. He is Swayam Bhagwan. In fact, he is not an avatar, he is an avatari, the source of all the incarnations. And there are incarnations are classified into 6 categories. Right. We have the Lila avatars, we have the Guna avatars, we have the Purusha avatars, right? Manvantar avatars, right? Then Lila avatars, Purusha avatars, Manvantar avatars, Guna avatars, right? Shaktivesh avatars. So there are 6 categories of incarnations. And then we see Swam Rupa, Tadikatmak Rupa, Vaibhava, Vilasa, all these various classifications are there. Right. But Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Right. Is the source of all incarnations. Mentioned Janmam Karma. Yeah. Yeah. Janma Karma Chamet Divyam Evam Yoveti Tattva Tyaktva Deham Punarjanma Neti Mameti Arjuna. One who understands the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his activities does not take birth again in this material world. Arjuna, with various back and forth questions and Krishna instructing him the Bhagavad Gita, in the 10th chapter, he completely gets satisfied, right? And in the 11th chapter, we see the universal form when he requests Krishna to display his universal form. And after seeing the universal form later on, he completely, he says, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, is that the Supreme Lord is Param Brahma. Supreme Brahman. Supreme Brahman. Right. The living entities are infinitesimal part, minute part of the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord's qualities which the Lord displays. Right. But Lord is full of all those qualities. Sat Chit Ananda. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachit Ananda Vigraha. Anadi Adi Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. He is the cause of all causes. Anadi. Right. Not that he has a source. He is the source of everything. Sarva Karana Karana. And the cause of everything which happens. Right. In Bhagavad Gita, also we see in the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, the 4 verses kind of describes Aham Sarvasya Prabha Mata Sarvam Pravarta Iti Matta Bhajante Mam. Right? Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. Right? He is a source of all the spiritual and material world. He is a source of all the material and spiritual worlds. That's the Supreme Lord Krishna. And today is his appearance day. Eta Chamsa Kalap Pumsham. Krishna tu Bhagwan Swayam. The other incarnations are either classified into Lila avatars or Guna avatars or Shaktivesh avatars or Purusha avatars. But Lord is not classified in one of them because His source is complete Lila, Purna Purushottam Bhagavan. Right from His birth in the prison house of Kansha, right, we see that He displays His Narayan form, four-handed form, right in the prison house to Vasudeva and Dev. And later on, as He displays unusual pastimes in His Balya Lila, in His Pauganda Lila, in His Kishore Lila, right? And He's Nava Yava Yavanamcha. He's always youthful. In His eternal form, we always see that as a 16-year-old boy, though by material calculation, during the war of Mahabharata, he was he had descended and he had manifested his pastimes for 127 years. But his form never becomes old. Right? That is Janma Karma Chame Devyam, transcendental. His pastimes are transcendental. And we hear about his pastimes again and again, again and again. And the acharyas and all the various devotees of the Lord like to hear his pastimes more and more. Just like a mango, when it is ripened, it's a ripened mango, right? Ripened mango. And we see in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the entire pastimes of the Supreme Lord are described in detail. But to get to that pastimes of the Supreme Lord, to understand his pastimes, especially his pastimes with the gopis, to come to understand his pastimes with the gopis, they're so advanced that one needs to go first to understand all the 9 cantos before one can jump on 10th canto. The professional reciters of Bhagavatam directly jump on the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. And they show different sentiments, right? But it's Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada, gave the commentary on the first words of the first canto for 30 days continuously. For 30 days. Establishing the fact that please do not jump directly to 10th canto. Understand the tattva. Vajanti tat tattva vidat tattvam yat jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwaneti sabdyate. The Lord's tattva is understood into 3 aspects: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And slowly we understand, just like we see that the first and the second canto are considered as the feet of the Supreme Lord. Then the other cantos are considered the thighs, and the waist, then the arms. And finally, the 10th canto is considered as the face of the Supreme Lord. But before meditating on the face of the Supreme Lord, a reader is advised that meditate on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Even when we come to the temple, it is explained that, first of all, meditate on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. See the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord and then come to seeing the face of the Supreme Lord. Right. So that's now this significance of this special day of the Lord's appearance. The devotees of the Lord get special nourishment on this special day of the Lord's appearance, where they look forward to serve. At each and every moment they serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but especially on this day, they try to serve as much as possible. That's why the fasting is recommended. They don't completely fast till midnight, so that the entire day we absorb in service. What kind of service? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Hear the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Hear the sound vibration of chanting of the holy name of the Supreme Lord. The Lord in this age, Kali Kale, Nam Rupe Krishna Avatar. In this age of Kali, the Lord has appeared right in His holy name. Kali Kale Nam Rupa Krishna Avatar. Right. And in this Kali Yuga, He has taken this golden form, a Krishna form. Right? Krishna Vanam, Tusha Akrishnam. Sangapanga, Asai Prasad. Yagyesh Sankirtan Prai, Ajanti Subedasa. And the intelligent person worships this form of the Supreme Lord who appears in the Akrishna form. Is Akrishna in golden form, not in the Sham form, in golden form. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who established the Yuga Dharma. So another category of the avatars is Yuga avatars. Right? Who established the Yuga Dharma of this Kali Yuga, of chanting of the holy name of the Lord. And anybody can participate in chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Right? So that's our, now we can, on this specific day, completely absorb ourselves in chanting the holy name of the Lord, in hearing the pastimes of the Lord, and serving as much as possible. In whatever way we can serve, whether we distribute the books of the instruction of the Supreme Lord, whether we cook for the Supreme Lord, whether we clean the temple of the Supreme Lord, whether we receive guests of the Supreme Lord, give them prasadam, and in different ways we can absorb in serving the Supreme Lord. Shri Krishna Janmashtami ki jai. Are there any discussions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisance. So, Prabhu had said that, we fast so that we could get more absorbed in services.
Yeah.
But, the issue sometimes can be that mind is focused, that I'm hungry, and then, there's the struggle. No, don't drink water, don't eat food. So you can't really focus on being absorbed. So how do we, ignore the mind on fasting days or even regular days?
Yeah. So it's recommended that, okay, if we cannot fast, if like what you mentioned, if our mind remains more on the fasting than on the absorption, one needs to train our mind. But if we're not come to that stage, then it's better to get our mind away from that distraction by, if you have to drink something, fine, drink something. But fasting is not recommended. You fast and then you become so weak that you cannot serve. Right. So get off the mental platform. If you have to drink something, drink something. If you have to eat something, eat something. Right. So there is no hard and fast rule that, okay, you do Nirjala Ekadasi. It's recommended. One should fast completely, but not at the cost. The purpose of fasting is so that we can absorb ourselves in service. The purpose of the fasting is not so that the service goes secondary, but my mind takes over. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I cannot do anything. I'm very weak. Right. But when we focus our mind, just like we see the Vrajvasis in separations of the Supreme Lord, for months and months, for years, they had not eaten anything. Right. When Uddhavji comes to Vraj, and he goes into the kitchen of Nanda Maharaj and Mother Jashoda, there were spider webs and cobwebs. Right. Because the kitchen was not used for years after Krishna that grudge. So, how could they sustain themselves? Because of absorption on his pastimes, right? Because of their absorptions on his pastime, they can sustain themselves. So, but still, if our mind plays tricks, eat something. That's fine. We need to come slowly to that stage to overpower Abhyas Yogena Kaunteya after regular practice. We come to that stage, right? But fasting should not be done at the cost of, now I'm feeling weak, or medicinally. No, if you cannot fast, fine. Drink some water. Take your necessary tablets. Not that, today is Janmashtami, fast, complete fast. I cannot take my medicines, and then I have some other issues. No. Is that okay, Amrita?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Prabhu, if I can ask, it's already 7 o'clock. I'll post in Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya.
Okay. So, thank you very much. You can post and we can discuss more. Thank you all very much. Today is Sri Krishna Janmashtami. We'll be having a program from 6 p.m. to midnight. As I was mentioning before, try to absorb as much as possible today. Even if you have to go to work, there also be absorbed. If possible, invite your colleagues to take the mercy of the Supreme Lord on this special day. We'd like to thank you all on this auspicious day of Sri Krishna Janmashtami. And we'd like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Nrsingo, Praladesha, Jaya Padmamukha Padmabhringam, Ugravira Mahavishnu, Jalantam Sarvatramukam, Narsingam, Vishanam Bhadram, Nityam, Namami. Narsinga Bhagwan ki Jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai. Let's offer our humble obeisances to all the Assembled Vaishnavas. Vanchakal Patarubhasya, Kripa Sindhu Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Vaishnavinda ki Jai, Granthavad Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai,
Jai,
Prabhupada ki Jai,
Jai,
Premanande, Hari
Hari,
Hari Hari Bol.
Hare
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Janmashtami. Hari Bol.
Happy
Hari
Janmashtami.
Bol.
Happy Janmashtami, Prabhuji.